Like, guys, I literally don't know. I don't, I don't know.
Boy,
Boy, look at this.
Yeah.
You should know this too.
Wait.
Lord help me. Guys, don't eat grapes under the table. Yeah, so I'm homeschooled. Just knew. Oh, I just kissed the mic. Oh!
I was down, but now I'm
Hey, welcome back to Girls on Fire for Jesus, episode 11. Happy New Year, everyone. Today is a little bit of a different video.
Well, we've got new mics.
Yeah, we got new mics, so hopefully this works out good because we were fed up with our little clip-on ones.
Little jet mics.
Yeah, this was kind of impulsive, low-key. We ordered these yesterday, so. Anyway, today's a bit of a different video.
Yeah.
Today, I'm sharing my testimony.
You should be applause.
Wait.
Laughing? What does that say? Oh wait. Okay, say it again.
I'm sharing my testimony.
Okay.
Yeah. So
My microphone is falling over. Awesome. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so Ayvrielle is going to be sharing her testimony today. In our next episode, I'll be sharing mine. We thought that this would be really good for us to start the year off with because I don't know, it's just a fresh start. Gives us some reminders of things to look back on. We're actually filming this on New Year's.
Yeah.
Like
New
New
Year's
Year's
Eve.
Day, or yeah, New Year's Eve, not New Year's Day. We're filming this on New Year's, so by the time you guys see this, we'll already be into January. So we hope that this is encouraging for you. And yeah, so basically, Avrille's gonna kind of just like share about her life and stuff and how she came to Jesus personally. I'll ask her some questions and whatnot, and we'll kind of just go from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Do we want to do a life update? Well, what do we have to update? Nothing. Well, we had Christmas. That was really fun.
Yeah.
Although it didn't really feel like Christmas this year, but
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah, it was, I don't know, different.
Yeah, and then tonight we are going to my young adults for a New Year's Eve party. So that's gonna be really fun. But we don't really have a lot of big updates, I don't think.
Not really.
So I think we're gonna pray. We'll pray and then we'll get started.
Okay.
Okay. Dear Lord, I just thank you for today, God. I just thank you that we could just come together and do another podcast video. We just pray that this reaches the people it needs to, Jesus. We thank you that you give us the abilities to be able to purchase new. Oh, I just kissed the mic. Oh, I pray that you give us I thank you for giving us the ability to be able to purchase things that are going to help with video quality. I just thank you for Ayvrielle, God, and her heart, Jesus, and I just pray that you would help direct her in what she's going to talk about today, and that you would give her peace, and that there would be no shame or anything that crawls into today's video, Lord, but that you would remind her that she's made new in you, Jesus.
Yeah, God, I just thank you that I have this platform. Me and Sarah have this platform to share, and that I can share my testimony for basically the first time. And I just ask Holy Spirit to lead me in what to say and show whoever is watching, I don't know, just some relatable things that can help them on their journey and whatever they're going through. And in your name, I pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay. I definitely kissed the mic in the middle of praying.
You gave the mic a
I was
holy
like,
kiss. I may or may not have opened my eyes.
I did. Okay. Okay. So we're gonna kind of get started with like some context of Avrille's life, family life, and just like how she grew up, like in terms of religion and all that kind of stuff. Okay. Okay. So Avrielle, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So share a little bit about family size, what your family's like. I don't know, and then kind of like how you grew up in terms of Jesus.
Okay. So, I I grew up in a family of 6. That makes sense. I
Yeah.
have 3 siblings. I'm the 3rd child, but apparently I act like a youngest child. Anyway,
It's really weird. She has, like, youngest child syndrome and oldest daughter syndrome at the same
yeah,
time.
it's weird. Anyways, so I grew up in a family of 6. We grew up Christian. My parents were Christian. Um, and I went to church every week, and my parents forced me into, like, volunteering and, uh, yeah, I don't know. I went to church. I believed in God and the whole thing. I guess I believed in Jesus and what the Bible said.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until a lot later that I actually started my relationship with Jesus.
Mm.
I think it's different, like, growing up in the church versus, like, once you actually are starting to decide what you believe and what you stand for, then you can either stray away from that or then build a relationship with Jesus.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Okay. You wanna give us some, what was I gonna say? I had a thought. You wanna give us, like, context of, like, age ranges of your siblings so you kinda have an idea of, like, how close you are with them?
Yeah, so I have an older sister. She's 7 years older than me. And then I have an older brother. He's 2 years older than me, and then a younger brother who is 3 years younger. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so what does your relationship with each of your siblings kinda look like? Like, were you really close with them growing up? Were you not really close and then you got close later? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah. I would say when I was very young, I was close with all of my siblings probably equally. Um, and then as my oldest sister got older, we weren't really super close, and then she moved out pretty quick when she was 17, and then we kinda grew apart, and I got a lot closer to my older brother. I was always close with my younger brother, but I got a lot closer with my older brother, and then now that I'm older there's so many older, younger, older, younger. Anyways, now that I'm older, I'm, very close with my oldest sister. We're, like, very tight.
Mhm.
Um, she's actually helped me a lot with my faith journey. She was actually probably wow, revelation.
Mhm.
She was probably the one who basically, um, like, planted the seed of me, like, starting to think about my actions when I was a teenager and, like, how they were wrong.
Yeah. I mean, because I wasn't helping her. So,
Yeah.
we needed her sister help.
Yeah, she kinda, like, set that seed and made me, like, think, and I was like, "Hmm."
That's funny that you say that though, because I remember that. There were some times where, like, we would be talking about stuff that we were dealing with at that time or whatever, and you would say something and mention, like, how you and your sister talked about it. You'd be like, "Well, this is what she said," and then you started bringing a lot of insight, even though I ignored most of her advice for a long time until I got older, but
Yeah.
yeah, I remember that.
Mhm.
That's true.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah. So, okay, so that's
yeah.
your relationship with your, siblings. How about with your parents?
Ooh. Ooh. My relationship with my parents, I would say, is good.
Yeah. Who are you closer with?
Definitely my dad.
Yeah.
Um, my dad is always there to, like, listen, even if he doesn't have much to say, 'cause he's kind
Little
of
quiet.
yeah, he's a little quiet, he's
He's
kinda
so cute
awkward,
though.
but he's the best.
Mhm.
He's always there to listen, which is nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, that's kinda like family life context, so everybody understands. Um, okay. So, growing up, I'm gonna, like, kinda come up with some, like, we've got bullet points, but also, like, some questions that are coming to mind. So, what did your, like, friend groups and stuff look like before your in your BC era, your before
Okay, so
Christ era?
BC, I don't know where we wanna start this because 'cause I'm pretty young already.
Why
So
don't we do, like, when you really started, like, kind of where both of us were having a hard time faith-wise, we were falling into a lot of things that were really, like, dangerous for us and destructive.
yeah,
So I would say, like, around 12 or 13.
yeah. Okay, so around that time, I think my main friends, friend groups, I had just kind of drifted off with some family friends that we had forever. They were kind of I don't know what the word is. Just we weren't close anymore. So that was
Mhm.
that. I only really had probably like two main friends, one of them being you. um but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. None of us really had faith, so it was not a super encouraging group, which I myself didn't have huge faith, so I can't say anything.
Yeah.
But we just as a whole, we were not very
Us
encouraging.
3?
Yes.
Yeah. It's not good.
Yeah, and then obviously there was like random people that I wasn't like close with that I was hanging out with.
Yeah.
And again, not great crowds.
No.
Um yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, so Ayvrielle, um, I mean, you can share this, but like you grew up doing dance, right?
Yeah.
You're still in dance. This is our last year of dance, but Ayvrielle grew up doing dance.
Mhm.
That's kind of her thing. But even in dance class, I remember as kids, you weren't very like you didn't really talk to anyone. You were very
No.
shy.
No.
A lot of
I
people
had
were
no
like, Ayvrielle
friends.
was so shy when she was little.
Yeah, I had no friends in dance class till I was probably like 13, 14.
Yeah. Oh,
Uh
we forgot to share a key factor that we're home.
yeah, so I'm homeschooled.
Yeah. But
All of my siblings have been homeschooled as well.
yeah, but to be fair, her not having friends in dance class had nothing to do with her not being or her being homeschooled.
Everyone hated me because I was homeschooled. No, just
No.
kidding.
Um, like I had friends in dance class, but I was homeschooled. Gabrielle was just really shy. That was
Yeah.
all. Yeah, so you didn't have a ton of friends in dance class. But then come 13, 14, you started meeting people. Plus,
Mhm.
again, you said you weren't super, super close with anybody except for me and then one other friend that we had.
Yeah.
Um, and then also, like, I had a bunch of friends in my hometown. Yeah, so I had a bunch of friends in my hometown that I had, like, Avriel and I would hang out with. So
Mhm.
those were kind of like the people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that once I started making friends in dance though, I wouldn't say they were like a good faith influences because none of them really had faith, but they were not into um lots of the bad things that
Yeah.
lots of the kids our age were into. So,
Yeah. Like drugs and drinking and stuff
yeah.
like that.
So that was good.
Yeah. So
Not that
better.
I was doing drugs and
No.
drinking, but there was other things happening.
Yeah. But better influence friends, which is good.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got some family life context, some friend context, hobbies, whatnot. Um, we can kind of go into like we have a bullet point here about like gossiping and stuff like that, which
Mm.
obviously we've touched. You're gonna hear some things that get a little bit repeated today that we've talked about a little bit in our podcast previously, but we're gonna go more in depth. So gossip. And the reason we're bringing that up is what's really funny about our podcast is that Avriel and I have known each other forever, like literally since we were born. So, and we were always close, even when we didn't see each other all the time. And so, when we hit the age that we did where we were like having a hard time and whatnot, it wasn't just like we saw this person having a hard time and then eventually they were just a different person.
Mhm.
Like we actually were like with each other during all the nitty-gritty, like ugly
Yeah.
stuff. So, when we're talking about this, like I'm speaking also from experience of watching Avriel change over time and then in the next one, vice versa, right?
Mhm.
So for gossip, that was something it was always a
Yeah.
struggle. So you want to share about that?
Yeah, so to be honest, I don't think there was ever like a point where the gossip started and it was like a bad like it was like this major problem. I think I just like grew up with um friends that gossiping was just like a normal thing. And
Mhm.
it just like you talk about people and talk about their business and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Um and then as I was like a tween into a teenager, I think it just kind of like got magnified, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. It was like that was like all we do. It's like, "Oh, this person did this. This person did this. I don't
Mhm.
like this person. Why are they doing this? Why are they like this?"
Yeah.
And it was kind of just a constant thing. I also really noticed it with one friend that we basically bonded over gossiping, and that's how our friendship started. Now we're friends to this day, but we've changed our ways, and
Mhm.
we were a lot younger then, so no shame to anyone, but that's kind of how we bonded, and that was kind of a big realization of how much gossip had like infected my mind. And it's so damaging because then you're gossiping and now you have like this lens and this different view of the people you're gossiping about.
Mhm.
And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Or it creates a false view for other like the people that you're
Yeah,
talking to
yeah.
about someone.
It was a
Now,
sorry, go.
no, it's okay. I was just gonna say that I feel like when someone does something wrong to you, like I don't think that maybe it's necessarily a good thing to go out and be like best friends with that person, but at the same time, your job isn't really to warn everybody about someone. Like they'll find out on their own, and so I think
Yeah,
yeah, that's a big thing with.
yeah. I think it was also really prominent in dance.
Oh, yeah.
Not like we were gossiping in dance class, but about other people from dance, and it's just so it was so toxic, and it's like
Yep.
everybody's human, and we shouldn't be talking about other people's business.
Nope.
So that was also a big thing.
Yeah.
Also, because it's so normalized in the dance community to just talk crap about everyone.
Mhm.
But
It's true. And even our dance studio is a lot better compared to most.
mhm,
It's a pretty healthy dance studio, but even then there's still like there's girls and for some reason girls have a built-in gossip button.
yeah. And then should I go into like how I got over that, or should I wait until
I think we'll kind of go back and retouch on them for
retouch?
your after or your AC, your
My
after or not after Christ. Your DC, your during Christ era.
during Christ. That's
So,
funny.
we're just talking about her before Christ kind of stuff that
BC.
she gossiped with. No, that she struggled with.
Oh yeah,
Gonna
and let's go back into gossip. Not only was I gossiping about other people that I wasn't close with, I was also gossiping about everyone. Like you,
It's true.
name drop.
It's true.
Our little
Name drop.
friend group, we'd gossip about each other all the time. It's
Yeah.
like we're all on a three-way call. Someone hangs up because they have to go, and it's immediately, they did this. Why were they doing it? Like
Yeah. Oh
the
my gosh.
toxicity, and it caused so many fights because
Yeah.
like we gossip to each other about like I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
not good.
Yeah. I remember that. Oh, drama. But it yeah, we would because it was me and Ayvrielle and then one other girl, and we still like love and care about her a lot, but we're none of us really talk to
Mhm.
her, like her anymore. But um it was really sad though because that is what would happen. And then it
Yeah.
would just go in like this circle of like
It was just an
this
infinite
person did
loop.
this, but then they would switch up and take the other person's side. And
Mhm.
it's really especially as a 13-year-old girl, like it's really draining
Yep.
on your mind and it
I
also is
remember
distracting.
yeah, I remember always being like concerned about what was happening with our friend group and like just like yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Or feeling like almost like you it was like so Averill and I always say like we've been close since we were little because we have been. But the thing is during that period of time, I don't think that there was ever a moment where we fully like we would always tell each other things, but there wasn't actually ever a reason for us to trust each other.
No.
To be completely
No.
fair,
No, no, no,
like
no. We'd always leak
yeah,
the business to everyone.
yeah, to everyone. And so really the only thing that got us through was that I think it was during like the really struggling moments we were really there for each other. But
Yeah.
like in terms of like when we didn't like something that happened or whatever or arguments, those were bad.
Mhm.
Just like yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh my gosh.
This is bringing back crazy stuff.
Yeah. Unless like I've blocked all of
You're
this
reliving
out.
it.
Yeah. Well, that's what your testimony does. And the minute you start talking about it, you're like, "Oh my gosh, I forgot that that happened." But yeah. So being that age, 13, 14, it was kind of also like maybe you weren't aware of it, but it was like a mental load that you were always
Yeah.
carrying around
Yeah.
of like,
And the worst part is like deep down I knew like talking about people was kind of wrong, but I
yeah,
didn't inherently like realize the magnitude of how bad it was and
yeah,
like
because it's so normalized.
yeah, it's because that's what everyone does. Everyone gossips, everyone talks about everyone, and it was just a thing. So
It's
yeah.
really horrible. Really horrible. So we're gonna switch gears. We're gonna go kind of into a touchy subject for really anyone. And I understand for us it's a little, but
I don't even think I've ever talked to like I don't think I've ever voiced this since
Other than to me, which
But even not, like, that much, you
yeah.
know? Yeah.
Okay. So, we're gonna talk about um kind of like the sexual things that came from being a teenager. Pornography, masturbation, validation, all that stuff. So, I don't know where you want to start, but like you might have to start
Let's
right at the
start at the beginning.
beginning. At
The
the
beginning.
beginning.
In the beginning, God created no, I'm just kidding.
Well, not kidding. You could do that.
Okay, let's just, like, jump right into it. When I was, like, I don't even know how old, I was exposed to pornography by I'm not gonna say who, obviously. Name drop. No, just kidding.
It wasn't an adult though, so
No, it was not an adult. It was somebody my age, and I was probably, like,
I think we were
5 or
yeah, you were
6.
5.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is insane. So this kind of started my problems.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, at the age of 5, I guess, I was exposed to pornography, and then I exposed her to pornography from that
Awesome.
because I didn't really understand what I was seeing.
It
I was
wasn't
like,
just you though. It
yeah,
wasn't just April. But
I
anyway,
I was like, I don't know what I'm seeing. So, anyways, I obviously had to tell her because.
she's like, "Girl, look at what I found."
So that was kind of the start of it all. I don't really
Yeah.
know what exactly came after that, but it
Okay, but
just
wait, pause. Hold on before we keep going. During that time, like, gotta give some context about like what happened. Did your parents find out? If they did, what did they do? Like,
I
we
hope my
gotta.
parents aren't watching this. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, they already know though.
So,
So
yes, my parents did find out. I actually uh I don't remember how. Was it from you?
yeah, I ratted.
So it was from her, and then they found out who exposed me to it, and they were traumatized. Then me and that kid were never allowed in a room alone together. So awesome. And my parents, I guess, didn't really think it was that big of a deal. I remember, see, I was so young, I barely remember this. I've trauma blocked it, but I was I got a talking to, and I don't remember what that entailed. I just remember it was traumatizing. and then and then my parents really never talked about it after that.
Mhm.
And I don't know where I was going with that.
They set up blockers, didn't they, to try and
Yeah,
block
they
it?
set up like blockers on our internet or whatever to try and like
Although, did it work?
no.
No,
It worked for a bit, but then I don't know. When I got older somehow I like I don't know.
figured it out.
I don't know. So anyways, that happened. Okay, so when I was younger, I stopped watching like flat out pornography. Um and I'm not exactly sure what age it started again. Actually, I have no idea when it started again. It just did. And it was like very what's the word? Consistent. So I was consistently watching pornography. Masturbation was a huge issue I had. Again, I don't know when that exactly started
Mhm.
either, but one day I was like, "Wow."
Wow.
Wow. And yeah. So as I got into my early teen years, it was just something I continued because it was so normalized and people talked about it.
Yeah.
And it was kind of
In the friend group we were hanging around, my friend group that I included her in were almost all guys. So
yes.
at that time, 14-year-old boys who are also exposed to pornography, their view of women is very flawed.
Mhm.
And because of that, I think that also made it worse.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that was just encouraged, and it was like, well, if you don't masturbate, if you don't watch pornography, like,
You're a weirdo.
you're a weird, you're like, uh, well,
A little goody goody.
yeah, you're a goody goody, like, you're never gonna get laid.
Oh,
So,
Lord help me.
and this was like at the age of,
You would have
I
been
don't
like
know.
13.
Yes, like that is crazy business.
Too
So,
young.
yeah, so that was a big problem. Um, I continued, I think, again, I don't know the timeline because I've like trauma blocked this so hard, but I stopped watching pornography at some point in my teenage years but I continued masturbating and that was a major problem I had up until like 2 years ago, not going to lie. And it's still been a bit of a struggle to get out of.
Yeah.
Um but I had something to say. Just going to say, I'm just going to give a little advice. You need to tell somebody if you're struggling with masturbation specifically, you need to tell somebody because if you
Yeah.
don't, you're never gonna. Like I had such troubles bringing up this because I was like, I can't
Yeah.
say it out loud. And that's how you know that
That is bad.
that it's not right.
So you won't tell anyone.
And the interesting thing is when I was like in my early teen years, I didn't even know that it was a sin. But like deep down, somewhere in there, I felt that it was wrong, but I wasn't sure why, so I just kept doing it.
Yeah.
And then one day, my sister told me that it was a sin and that you shouldn't do it because
Yeah. Well, why don't you address, because there's gonna be some people who are like, well, the Bible doesn't specifically address masturbation as a sin, because
yeah.
it doesn't. So why don't you go into how you kind of came to the conclusion that it was?
Yeah. So I don't remember, but my sister explained it very well for me because I gained up the balls to go ask her because she mentioned something about it and then it planted a seed in me and I was like, what did she say? So like months later, I sent her a message because she doesn't live anywhere close to me. So I
Mm-hmm.
sent her a message and I was like, hey, like what did you mean when you said this? I'm really curious and I don't really understand. So she explained it very well. I'm not exactly sure her wording, but
I also remember this because
it
Ayvrielle
was
told me right after.
yeah, because I was like, "You
You
should
need
know
to hear
this
this
too.
too.
Have you seen the Pedro Pascal? You should know this too." Sorry. Anyways, she said something along the lines, given I was fairly young when I asked for this, so she was making it like
I think you were
very
4.
yeah, she was making it very like understandable. Oh, I don't know what she said. Let me think how to word this. I think she basically told me that um God saves that pleasurable stuff for marriage so that when you do it within the covenant of marriage, it's for the other person and
Yeah.
it's a selfless thing.
Yeah.
It's not for yourself. So then when you're masturbating,
You're doing
it's
it for yourself.
yes, it's completely selfish and God wants you to save that for marriage. I think
Hmm.
that's basically how she explained it to me and I was like,
Yes, that's how I remember it
that
too.
is amazing. Um Sorry. I just had to. So, exactly. Basically, it's a selfish thing, and she didn't explain the lust to me because I don't know, maybe I was too young, but nobody's ever too young to learn about lust. So anyway.
Yeah, real.
Um
Preach.
but when you're like okay, what is the word I'm trying to think of here? Um
Make sure you're close to the mic.
the act of masturbation itself technically I guess wouldn't be a sin, but the fact is that no matter who you are or what you're doing, you're going to be fantasizing or whatever, and it's going to be a selfish based thing and it's going to be lustful because
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I know that was my problem
So
with
it's
it
like the
too.
mindset behind it.
Yeah. And if you're gonna go and say, you're gonna be like, well, I don't lust when I do it. I'm like,
You
you've
do.
you've got
You
to
do.
be maybe the 1%, maybe the 1% of the planet that might do it where they don't
Where there's
like
no like
have
feeling
even a
intent
slight
behind.
thought of like, yeah, doing it. And even then, it's still a very like, I don't know, selfish thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was like the start of when I actually learned why it was wrong cuz again, somewhere in the back of my mind, I knew that it was wrong for some reason because I always felt horrible after the fact. And I
Yeah.
was like, why do I feel like this every time I masturbate? It's like it's the instant gratification, the flesh taking over,
Yep.
and then you aren't fulfilled after because it's not fulfilling. The only thing that can fulfill you is God. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyways, so that was kind of me. And then once I had that conversation with my sister, I still struggled a lot. And then I had to bring it to I don't even know who I talked to. Is it you?
Well, I think at some point we had a turning point. Is this like once you met Jesus? Because you still had some issues with
Yes.
it? Or
So,
close
okay,
anyway?
if I'm thinking about the calendar properly, I had this conversation with my sister in November. Then I thought about it all of December, and I'm pretty sure January I was like, "New year, new me." I think that's what happened.
Was that then
And
of
I was still struggling, but it
2022?
was
No, I think that would have been in 2021 because you would have been
that far
14.
ago.
And then we went into 2022. We still weren't very like committed to our relationship with God, but I think you were just now recognizing that part was wrong.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then you started talking to me about it, and then I was like, "Oh, I don't care." It took a lot more convincing for me to get on board with it, but you definitely talked to me about it, and I think that's where it kind of started.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And again, like, it wasn't like this immediate, "I'm not doing that." It's not that easy. I still struggled with it for a long time and sometimes still do.
Yeah, like, just, like, the
Satan
temptation of it
tempts.
and stuff.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
anyways.
And note, it's not like it's a bad thing to be tempted, like, Jesus was tempted.
Mhm.
It's just that he didn't fall into it.
Yeah.
And even if you do, just remembering that, like, God's died for that sin, and he already forgives you, but you just need to confess it to him, and you need to acknowledge that it's
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Mhm. And can we just talk about how hard it is to break the habit of watching pornography? It's crazy. It's crazy the stuff it does
Mhm.
to your brain
What
and how it messes you up so bad.
yeah. Why don't you touch a little bit on, like, because I feel like there's, like, videos, but then at some point, there was also a shift
Oh, yeah.
of, like, freaking
Guys,
what
I
is that what they're
actually
called?
forgot about this.
Wattpads or
Yes,
whatever?
Wattpad.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Or, like, on TikTok, it would be, like,
yes.
Wattpad videos,
Yeah, exactly.
but it feeds the same thing that the
Yeah.
video.
So after I like completely cut the like pornography addiction problem,
Mhm.
then I was reading porn. And I was like, "It's fine." No, it's not,
It is
guys.
not.
It's still exactly bad for you. And I would say it's almost worse for women to be reading than like, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Like, I don't think men typically stumble down the, like, reading porn,
Mm-mm.
but women
Women do.
have major problems because it's also normalized.
Yeah.
Like, go to the adult section of, like, adult, fiction or whatever in the bookstore. Dude, the stuff you'll read in there is crazy, and
Yeah.
it's just, like, feeding things that you don't need to have in your mind.
Yeah.
So anyways,
Yeah.
after the porn addiction was cut, well I thought
Technically, it wasn't,
technically
but
it wasn't.
yeah.
Okay, the, like, the
The videos.
video
Mhm.
pornography was cut. Then I thought I was good, and then I kept falling back into temptation, and I ended up resorting to reading porn because I was like it, like, this is so dumb, but you're like, Satan literally tricks you so hard.
Mhm.
I was like, "It's not as bad,
Because you're not
so I
physically
won't
watching
feel
it.
so guilty," you know?
Mhm. And another thing I thought, um, it was something I think you said to me. I don't remember. Okay, just keep going. I don't remember. It'll come back
Anyways,
to me.
yeah, so the reading was a problem, and then
Oh, I remember. I
mhm,
remember. Also just, like, touching on, like, um, just, like, movies too.
yeah,
And what I mean, you just kinda said how, like, most, like, books, like, adult books are just gross and
mhm,
they're just full of smut. And there's some writers out there who purposely write that on
yeah.
intentionally. And,
Movies, same thing.
movies are same thing,
Like, why does every movie that's rated R have to have,
like, full-on
like
sex scenes. And
yeah,
I will say that I understand that a lot of, like, m good movies have, like, a scene or 2 sometimes, but you know that you can skip over. Like, you
yeah.
don't have to watch them. And, oh my gosh, this reminds me, when we were 14, remember when we watched Ginny and Georgia? So,
Oh,
my parents were really strict about TV watching,
yep.
but we would just whenever we went to Ayvrelle's house, we would just watch her little
That
rats.
one was bad.
Yeah,
And, like, not that I don't even think there was any nudity, but it's just, like, your mind wanders because it's
yeah.
showing you these, like,
Or
subjects that
yeah.
yeah,
Or there was lots of scenes implying lots of stuff and just,
yeah.
like ugh. So I think that it's
You have to be
like
so
mm,
careful what you're putting
yeah.
into
Your
your
brain,
brain.
yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, initially, probably, like, the main issue you were having was, like, the actual videos, the actual stuff you were reading, but also, like, everything else behind it fueled it,
Yeah.
and made it so much harder.
Yeah, and because you and I were exposed to pornography at such young ages, I think you have to be extra careful what you're putting into your brain because, like, it's just fueling the fire, you know?
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
It really does, and it sucks for anyone who gets exposed to it, but if
Mhm.
you basically have spent your entire life struggling with it, is really hard to break. Like,
Yeah,
really hard.
and it was a process.
Like, if we consider that, we spent our entire lives so far.
Yeah, and even oh my gosh, okay, back to books. Even, uh, that was, like, a couple months ago, I was reading this young adult book series. Guys, it was inappropriate. I I was listening to it on audiobook, so I listened to the first book. There was, like, one part that was maybe a little more sus than I was hoping, but it wasn't anything crazy.
Mhm.
Listen to the second book. I was about half an hour from the end, and I said, "You know what? I can't do this. I've been feeling convicted, and there's 3 books," and I was, like, "Gonna finish this series." That very inappropriate. Very inappropriate. It was
Mhm.
like a full-on sex scene in a young adult novel.
Yeah. So, that's
Crazy.
also a
Guys,
warning.
this is called Light Lark by Alex Aster? I don't know. Anyways, be careful what you're putting into your mind.
Yeah. Also, you can join just like as resources for the ladies who like romance books, whether that be fantasy or old timey or whatever it is. You can join Facebook groups that have Christian novels, or even just you can look up closed door
Yeah, for sure.
romance
There's even lots of,
novels.
like, Instagram influencers that, like,
Hmm.
give you a bunch of recommendations. Because
Yeah.
I love reading, and I'm
Hmm.
always, like, trying to find the books that aren't gonna.
Make you stumble.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, if your right hand causes you to stumble, cut it off. If your
Yeah.
books are causing you to stumble, get rid of them.
Or let's also talk about, I mean, I know that I get affected by music much more than you do, but again, that's just another thing that was fueling
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah.
you have people fueling it because
Mhm.
it's what is the standard, it's what society claims is normal, and it's not. It's not normal. That's not okay.
Yeah.
What's also, you have the videos you're watching, then you have the stuff you're reading, then you have the movies you're watching, then you have regular books you're reading, and
Mhm.
then you have music on top of that. Because at that point we were still probably listen. I mean, I was worse than you were, but still, like there was still music, like that
Yeah.
song that came up in my head this morning.
Wait, which one was it?
It was nice and nice.
Oh,
That's a
let's do
really
it
bad
again.
song. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
bad.
a bad song.
Guys, I used to sing that song all the time because
Yeah,
I was obsessed with this one man who went on America's Got Talent and sang
yeah,
it.
just like bad music, and it just is all it talks about is like having sex, and it also just like, yeah. Oh, this is
And
what I wanted to kind of dive into is like how, I mean, I know you haven't really dated anyone, or you haven't dated anyone. You've had things here and there, but you haven't dated anyone. But like even with that, or just like thinking of the idea of marrying someone, what has being exposed to all these things, how has it like flawed your view of love, would you say? And you've had to really like correct it.
yeah, that's like so hard because I don't even know how to describe it because I don't know.
Well, it kind of ties into the when we were talking about masturbation. It's just like it becomes a very like self-seeking
Yeah.
thing, you know.
Yeah.
But talk about also your motivation to get out of it because you wanted to be right for your husband. Because I know that that was a big
Actually,
thing.
yes. Okay, that was a big thing that really helped me like um it was like a motivation almost.
Hmm.
But I guys, this is so dumb. I just saw a video that you shouldn't have crushes on people, but whatever. I had a crush on this guy. Anyways, um, and that was my motivation to get out of um my masturbation problems and
Hmm.
resist the temptation and stuff because I was like, well, if I can't like resist it now, like how much harder will it be if I'm like dating someone or
Hmm.
engaged? So, anyways, that was a huge motivation and I told
Hmm.
myself I was like I can't even like think about maybe getting together with somebody or uh pursuing this guy if I
Don't have yourself in check.
yeah,
Yeah.
if I don't have my I don't know, man. My
Yeah.
brain is stopping.
No, that's fair. Yeah, I think that um yeah, all that stuff, it does really affect how you view love, but I think that, and maybe some people will be like, "Oh, well, God should be your only drive to like wanting to get out of that." But we're human beings, so sometimes it's like God should be your sole purpose because he knows what's best for you. But if you
Mhm.
need motivation from other people, whether that be I want to be a healthy individual for my husband, or I want to be a healthy like example to my friends, or whatever it may be, like it's
Yeah.
okay to have motivations as well to help you get out of it.
Yeah. I think it's just important to make sure that God is your
Is your sole purpose.
yes, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And then before we move on from this whole like sexual area, let's talk about the things that went on online.
Oh my gosh.
Okay,
That's
so
like a
this
big
is going to be
part.
a big section in your episode.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
no offense. Whoa, that was like
No, but
crazy.
it will be.
For me, it wasn't as intense, but it still was. So a big thing, I don't know. I don't even know what the main, probably Omegle or whatever it's called, was
Omegle.
when we got into that, that
And,
was like
like,
a major problem because I didn't really. I wouldn't
oh
say
my
I
gosh.
talked to men or boys inappropriately on the internet very much,
Yeah.
and then Omegle came.
Except for, let's be completely honest, I was a terrible influence with that. Like, I was a bad influence. So, like Gabriel said, in mine, I'll talk a lot more about like this topic because this is a big deal for me. But like, I would, like, I was a terrible influence on you, and because of that, it was like the reason we went on Omegle was because of me. The reason that like I would
Was
egg
it
you,
really?
yeah, the reason because I would like even on TikTok or on Snapchat, I think sometimes I would even try to encourage her to like add guys on Snapchat. She never did, really,
Yeah.
luckily. But anyways, you can keep going on to
So,
Omegle.
anyways, we got into
What was
Omegle.
Omegle? Because some people might not know what it is
How would you not know what
because
Omegle is?
it's not a thing anymore.
Really?
Yeah, it's gone.
Okay,
Thank the
so
Lord.
Omegle was this website. There's probably similar websites to it, but
Yeah,
Omegle was this website that you could go on and FaceTime, like video chat with like random people around the world.
yeah,
Like
like literally around the world.
literally anyone. Half of them were predators, and
Hmm.
it was basically
Probably over half.
like I could see how it could be fun, maybe if it was a Christian version, but nobody on there was on there for the right reasons. Like it was like just to
Like online hookups, basically,
basically, yeah.
all for sexting and all that kind of
Yes,
crap.
exactly. So
Hmm.
anyways, we were like, "Oh, this will be so fun. Let's talk to randos." So, yeah. And there wasn't very many instances where I actually like gave my socials to people, but I definitely did a few times and it don't do it. Yeah. I got involved with one random man on the internet. I hell if I know if he was like an old man
Yeah.
or if he I don't know. Dude,
Even if he wasn't, low
it's
key, we're
still
getting groomed.
yes. So anyways, there
Yeah.
was
Hmm.
yeah.
Just bad. So then, okay, so warnings against that kind of stuff because then also it was like social media was like always an encourager. That's the dangers with
Oh
social
my
media.
gosh, guys, this is the stupidest thing, but here's something again with like just Satan tempting you so hard that you'll go around what you think is bad to do more bad things. So instead of going on Omegle, me and I don't know if you were a part of this or if it was the other friend, but I would go on
Oh gosh.
I would go on like Among Us. And
Oh, same. And we had Discord.
yes,
Yep.
and we'd like find
Yeah,
people
we
on
did that.
Discord and start talking to them
And exchanging socials and
and other bad
yeah.
things.
Always with boys though. It was
Yes,
never a girl thing.
yes.
It was always with guys.
Yeah, that sounds so stupid to say, but honestly, you will find ways around the mainstream bad thing to do more bad things, but they just feel less bad.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's also just like a warning, just to like make sure that like even for people that are a little older or for future like parents, like just be careful. Like phones, I mean, there's also like trusting your kids and stuff, but like really, Avrielle never really did anything growing up with her parents. They found out about that they were like, oh, I can't trust you.
Yeah.
Now my parents, on the other hand, found a lot of things, and so that's a different story. But like for her, like I feel like you didn't really, your parents didn't catch you doing much other than when you were really young. But at that point, it was like you were so young that it was like
They
it's
thought I
not
wouldn't
even
even
your
remember.
fault.
Yeah, it's
It's
not
not
even my
even your
fault, and
fault,
they thought I wouldn't remember, I
which
guess.
obviously we do because it's
Obviously, I
freaking
did because,
traumatizing.
yeah.
Yeah, and because like at 5 years old, like you don't understand what it is.
No, and that's exactly why I told her, the other 5-year-old, because I was like, what is this?
Yeah, and it was yeah, it was hard because it was like we didn't we didn't understand it, right? And it was like it wasn't like we were trying to be bad or we were
Yeah.
trying like at that point we just didn't know. And we like as kids you're curious. You're also almost every child you'll meet gets curious about their body parts
Yep.
and what's on them. And so then there's also that aspect,
Mhm.
but then that just like fueled it because sad.
Yeah.
It's sad. But
Yeah.
anyways, so Omegle, there's all the online stuff. Now, um we can tie insecurity and attention seeking into that because that kind of also stems from that. So, do you want to kind of talk more about your insecurities growing up?
Yeah. We kind of talked about this in a previous episode,
Yes, we did.
but if you haven't seen it, I'm just going to say it all again.
Mhm.
So, I don't really know exactly the time or like the point that it started, but at some point it just happened. There was just like some insecurity there. So, my main issue was seeking to fill the hole in me from other people, and so I'd care what they um like how they viewed me.
Mhm.
And so that in turn caused me to like act different depending on who I was with.
Mhm.
So like if I was with her group of friends, I'd act a certain way. Or if I was with my other friends, I'd act a certain way.
Yeah.
Or whoever I was with, it was just like acting a certain way to then hopefully like make them like me and like
Yeah.
make them think of me a certain way, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Luckily, with our friendship, though, I feel like even during like the rough times, I don't really feel like there was ever like any crazy moments where you were very different around me. Like I felt like thinking back, I'm like, obviously you've grown tremendously, but even then, I've always felt like you're Avrielle, and you were never like very different. So I think that's also just the benefits of us being so close growing up. But
Yeah.
like with other people,
Mhm.
I would notice it. Even we'd be hanging out, and I'd notice. But it wasn't ever anything that like would hurt me, so I don't think I ever really said anything about it. Also, because at that point, confrontation was really hard for us to handle. So I
Mhm.
was just like, oh, I'm just not going to say anything. But I remember thinking back that that was
Yeah.
definitely something you had a hard time with.
And now let's talk about not only was I changing my personality basically depending on who
Mm-hmm.
I was with, I would also change what I wore depending on who I was with. Now, it wasn't like super drastic, but I definitely would dress a certain way to impress whoever I was hanging out with at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
The guy friends.
yeah. It's like, "Ooh, wear a crop top and
Mm-hmm.
your skinny jeans" when you're like 14. And
Not
see,
that
that
crop
was
tops or skinny jeans are
yes,
bad, but it's
and that
just
was, like, the extent of it because at the beginning, I was saying I grew up in a Christian household, so I would never wear anything that was, like
so bad.
yeah,
No.
um,
Or super revealing or anything like
yeah,
that.
but it was, like, the intent behind it. It's again, back to when we were
Our
talking about
modesty.
modesty,
Mhm.
it's not what you're wearing, it's the intent. So, not that a crop top and skinny jeans is bad, but it was my intent behind
Yeah.
it was bad.
Even thinking back, like you never dressed what stereotypes refer to as immodest, but her
Exactly.
heart behind it.
Yeah, it was not
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And you know what's really funny is that I would dress like in my parents' standard. I would dress more what's the word? Immodest when I was at her house, not because she's a bad influence,
But I was.
but because then my parents wouldn't see. Did you
Yeah.
know that?
I didn't know that, but that makes sense.
Yeah. So I'd like yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
okay.
So that was part of the insecurity is just like not knowing who I was, and so it was like an identity crisis kind of
Yep.
that I wasn't sure who I was, so I was a different person with everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, kind of to now get to like the nice big part, like the amazing part. So, I mean, we can kind of go through each thing, but like, how did God get you through these things? Like, how, well, first of all, what was your like, I know that we, neither of us really had a like, yes moment,
Mhm.
but it was kind of gradual. Now, I know the exact date. So if you don't remember, I know because we had it happened at the same time.
I don't know the dates. I couldn't tell you even the
So
year.
it was, so we would have been, I would have been almost, I would have been almost 16, I think, and you would have been,
Yes.
and you would have been still 15. It
Yes.
was beginning of 2023. We started talking about Jesus and like things like that end of 2022 into like December-ish, November, December-ish. Then we went into 2023, and I think by March is when we started doing our Bible journaling, which is when it really like
Mm, okay.
switched. So, anyways, that's kind of timeline.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I don't really know. Like I literally don't remember what was happening in my mind when that all
Well,
happened. Like, I
okay,
have no
so I can
recollection.
kind of share a little bit on her behalf because I think that again, this is like one of the privileges we have of having the friendship we have is that we literally lots of our shifts happen at the same time
Mhm.
or pretty close anyway. So I remember I had like you already were starting to kind of like, you were working on your things and stuff, but I
Mhm.
remember where it kind of shifted quite a bit for the both of us was and I'll talk about this more in my testimony, but just like after everything, I finally was like I need to like I started reading my Bible more. And then I got into Bible journaling,
Mhm.
which basically all I would do is I would write out I'd pick a topic. So let's say temptation, and then I would look up a bunch of verses on it. I'd highlight them in my Bible and then I'd write them down and like make the page all pretty with like sticky notes and highlighters and stuff like that. And I really enjoyed it and it made understanding God's word so much easier. So then I remember I sent you a picture, we still have them. I sent you a picture and I was like, "Boy,
Boy, look
look
at
at
this.
yeah, I was like, "Look at what I'm doing. Like, look at what I have started discovering." You were like, "Oh my gosh." That's like I remember this conversation.
I do not.
You were like, "Oh my gosh, like that's so amazing." And then I remember you were like, "Well, I hope you don't feel like I'm copying you, but I really like that idea." And then you were like, "We should do one every day and send pictures of the ones we do."
Ooh.
So then
The
not
accountability.
I was about to say, so not only did we have that switch, but we automatically became accountability partners right off the bat.
Dang.
And I'm like, that makes me emotional. I honestly should get the yearbooks out because that would be a really
Yeah.
good way to figure out. Avrielle and I do yearbooks every year, so we like take photos from each month and then we scrapbook them and give them to each other. So that's what I'm talking about. But anyway, yeah, so I think that again, there wasn't a big clicking moment, but I think you personally were starting to like figure things out and then I was and then all of a sudden we were like, "Oh," and then we started really holding each other accountable and then it went on from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah. Um,
Wild. Okay, so then why don't you talk about like specifically though, and obviously it wasn't exact moments again, but
mhm.
like what was your shift and mindset on all of those topics? So
Okay.
gossip
y-
and pornography and stuff and then insecurity.
Yeah. So, trying to think back now. Like we were saying, I think originally the like masturbation and pornography issue was like the main thing that changed in my like viewpoint. Obviously, I was always you're always working on it to like it's a daily thing you have to like
Mhm.
I don't know what the word is. It's not like you're like fighting it, but
Yeah. But
kind
like you're
of.
fighting your flesh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways, that was like the main thing that was really God showed me. That was like, wow, that's that's crazy. My lifestyle is not aligning with what you say and like why am I doing this? Like what's the motivation behind it? Like what's the reason
Mhm.
and um
Yeah.
like what would be the benefit of not masturbating or not watching pornography?
Yeah.
Um I don't know where I'm going.
Well, I was going to say some people might be a little confused that like just like how it just happened. But what I was going to say is also like um I had a thought. I do this all the
I
time.
also do this all the
I like
time.
can't keep my thoughts straight. I was gonna say something about like how it kind of like clicked in your brain or like the seeds that were planted
Okay,
kind of
so
started growing. That kind of idea.
yeah, so like I was saying, the seed that was planted was my sister and it started growing. I told her and then I really
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say most most people have to hit their like rock bottom, and
Mhm.
everyone's looks different. I feel like, and I feel like for you, you hit a point where you were like, I don't understand this anymore, and it
Yeah, and I think it was almost like why is it making me feel like crap? Why do I
yeah.
feel like unsatisfied. Why do I feel like
Yeah.
shame and disgusting after I masturbate? And that was kind of like the
Turning point.
yeah. I was like, wow, it's because it's temporary or no, instant gratification and my
Temporary
flesh is
pleasures.
winning and Satan's getting me.
Mhm.
So that was kind of that. And once I, after Christ or during Christ, it was probably the main thing that I focused on. And it was hard. It was very hard. And
Mhm.
like I was saying, I didn't get out of it until maybe 2 years ago. And it's
Yeah.
still been on and off struggle, not as bad as it used to be, but
Yeah.
it still comes back to try and tempt me.
Yeah.
Um, but that was probably the main thing that I had to work through. And to be honest, like I was saying before, like the thing that really helped me was a guy.
Yeah. But also, you know what me and you used to do? We used to do streaks, remember?
Oh,
We could
yeah,
talk
you're
about that.
right. Okay, so me and Sarah, once we both realized that we wanted to get out of this habit and this sin,
Mhm.
um, we would text each other, and this was like to be like inconspicuous, so like none of our families would know what we were saying, but we text each other every day and tell each other what the streak was. So if your streak is 7, you've gone 7 days without falling
Masturbating.
into temptation.
Yeah.
And then so it would kind of be like it kind of gave you a little motivation because you don't
It
want to
did.
go to your friend and say my streak is 0. Like you don't really want to do that.
Every time I said that, I was like,
Yes. So
it's so sad.
it was something just like in the back of your mind kind of just helping you be accountable.
Mhm.
Now obviously that didn't cure it. That wasn't
No.
like the because it's hard. It's very hard.
Yeah.
Um but that was one thing that did help like you were saying. And then I don't know what year this was, to be completely honest, but I do remember one New Year's, one New Year's Day, I was like, you know what? This year, I'm not going to fall into temptation at all. And now that didn't exactly happen, but it was a lot less because I had like made that standard for myself. And I actually had a calendar on my wall, and I would put a little tiny X in the corner
I
if I
didn't know
fell
that.
into temptation. And so if I go back and look at that calendar, I don't know if I still have it, I might. But there was only a few times because I set this goal and I was
Mhm.
like, "You know what? This is it."
Yeah.
And again, I wasn't perfect. It's still hard. It's still hard to this day. I still have to constantly be reminding myself if my thoughts ever get
Out of hand.
anywhere close to temptation, I start like repeating scriptures in my head. And now that's something maybe I can talk about a little bit.
Yeah. Mhm.
That is actually so bad. Can you hear it? I'm like,
No.
okay, so anyways, maybe that's something I can talk about for anyone who is struggling with this. First
Mhm.
of all, I'm going to give you a few tips that helped me because why not? I'll share my tips.
Mhm.
Tell someone.
Yes.
I told her. Now, I could have told somebody else that wasn't like maybe
Openly
so.
struggling with it.
Yeah, because it was easier to tell her. Now, it was still hard, but it was easier, so I could have told someone more, like, I don't know, maybe somebody older, because that might have held me accountable a little bit more, but I was too
Yeah.
scared, so tell somebody you know and you love and you trust.
Mm.
Also, memorize scripture. I have probably about, like, not that many, like, 3 scriptures that I keep in my head at all times for any time my thoughts like try and go into temptation and like Satan's like, "Ooh." So I just repeat those in my head or out loud.
Mhm.
That helps me a lot. Um and it's not as easy said than done because I had major issues with this, but don't be on your phone at night. Don't be reading anything sus. Don't be listening to anything sus.
Yeah.
Make good habits, especially for at night. Especially at night.
Or one thing is I've heard that other people struggle with masturbation in different settings. So
Okay.
even not even just at night. I mean, most people I would say struggle with it at that point. But no matter when you do, just like building a habit
Yeah,
to avoid
recognizing
it as much as
recognizing when
possible.
you have your issues and then um combating them. Like, yeah. Yeah. So
Mhm.
that's kind of that section. Gossip. So again, I don't really know when I realized that this was bad, but God revealed to me at some point after I basically gave my life to Christ, because when I was younger, I like I raised my hand in church and I gave my life to Christ, but it wasn't
It was like you
like
drifted,
Jesus was living in me, but I wasn't
living for him.
exactly.
Yeah.
So when I I'm just going to say when I gave my life to Christ, it was something God revealed to me that was like, this is not okay, especially with my one friend that we literally just built a relationship over gossiping.
Yeah, I remember that.
So I think I'm not exactly sure what happened, but I had a conversation with this one friend and I was like, "Hey, I love you and this is what's been happening and this is how I'm feeling, so can we please like not be gossiping all the time and not like yeah, um just like speaking death basically."
Over
And
other
then it
people,
was a little bit better and then we kind of just like drifted a little bit. Um
because that's what your relationship was built on at the time.
yes, exactly. And I wasn't strong enough in my faith to like divert the conversation, and it was making me fall and fall and fall into gossip. So we kind of just drifted a little bit,
Mm.
and then we've gotten a lot closer now that I've grown and she's grown and I'm stronger in my faith. So when like we do fall into gossip, I can kind of just be like, no. And it's still hard. I still catch myself and I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
but it's growth when you can recognize when it's happening." So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that. What was the other thing I
And
talked
then
about?
insecurity.
Oh yeah. So again, like guys, I literally don't know. I don't, I don't know. I don't know when this like stopped.
I would say from like my observation, everything gradually happened over the year of 2023,
Yeah.
specifically in the beginning half.
Yeah, so that would make sense. I think just like I was when I was talking about insecurity, I was trying to fill the void. And so once I gave my life to Christ, it was like the void was slowly being filled. And as I read more scripture, I was learning who I am in Christ.
Mhm.
And I think it was just like the the realizing, which I don't know when this happened, the realizing that like God made me who I am for a reason and I don't need to change to please people.
Yeah.
And just being who I am is more than enough.
Yeah. That's good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay. Dang.
My back hurts,
I
guys.
know. My hips are
Because now
hurting.
we have to like sit up straight for these
And
stupid
not be a
mics
little cashew.
instead of like this.
Okay,
Hey.
so I think that basically touches up on like most of the main things that growing up you really dealt with
Yeah.
that have really like changed your life.
Mhm.
Um,
And I think it's like it's interesting because like people assume that people who grow up in a Christian household are just like angels and they have no problems in life, but like this is just like testament? No,
testimony.
te- I don't know what I'm trying to say. Okay, whatever. This is just testimony to the fact that
Oh, just a testament. The
yes, yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes. That like even if you grow up in a Christian household and you know who God is, like
you could still stray.
yes, you can still stray. I know so many people who grew up in Christian households and strayed
Yeah,
because it's just
yeah,
it's not like you're automatically gonna be perfect and
yeah.
like have this goody goody great life.
Mhm. Or even people who give their life to Christ sometimes will fall away, sometimes,
Mhm.
and will come back to the relationship. A biblical example that I was just thinking of, because we watched so many examples of like or movies of the gospel.
Mhm.
We watched Light of the World, which is on Prime, and King
So
of Kings,
good.
which is also on Prime, but it's
Mhm.
also on Angel Studios. Light of the World might be on Angel Studios, but I don't know
It might
yet.
be.
Anyway, so highly recommend. But something that reminded me is of Peter,
Mm.
because Peter loved God, and he but he strayed away at times. Like Jesus tells him that he will deny that he even knows Jesus 3 times. And he's
Mhm.
like, there's no way. And then he does it, and then he cries and he weeps. But then later Jesus still like accepts him and loves him, and he comes back to Jesus, right?
Yeah.
And so even if you fall away, just know that like you're not too far gone. You're not like so lost that you can never come back to Jesus. And yeah,
Mhm. Yep.
so that's just what I was thinking. Anyways, but yeah. Is there anything else you want to like add that you feel like you need to?
I think I'll just say that um my life before I gave my life to Christ and started walking in the way of the word was so miserable. And like I don't know how like I don't think I would have been able to survive through like high school and what I'm going through now, like just life without giving my life to Jesus. It would be
Yeah.
so hard and it would be like
Yeah.
I can't even imagine it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I was just like it was just miserable. So
Yeah.
much energy being put into sin and just like trying to be something that I'm not,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah. It is exhausting. It really is. And it's draining.
Yeah.
And another thing is like April and I always say that, we probably wouldn't be friends if both of us hadn't given our lives to Jesus at the time that we did.
Nope.
Because I mean, we've shared on our friendship podcast episode of like kind of a bit of a testimony of our friendship. Um, but I think that even that was like really hard to maintain. It was really hard to be friends. Like there were times where it was easy, but there were also a lot of times where it was really hard,
Yeah.
really, really tricky to be friends, even though we've known each other so long.
Yep.
And so it's really just like by the grace of God that we even still like each other.
Yeah. And we're about to live together for a year.
Yeah.
And
So
without God, I don't think we could.
no, we couldn't.
I think we'd rip
We
each
probably
other's
kill each
throats
other.
off.
Yeah.
That didn't make
And
sense, but
if we were still in the same state of like gossip and like
yeah.
just hurting, because that's really what it was. We were just like hurting each other because we were hurting.
Yep.
And another thing is it doesn't excuse bad behavior. It doesn't excuse bad friends. But you got to understand that people, especially if you're a Christian and you have friends who are non-Christians and they're kind of treating you kind of crappy, you also have to understand that like they don't know the love of Jesus. And so it doesn't excuse it, but it also gives you like kind of a heart towards them, just like understanding like, okay, I recognize that you don't understand this kind of love. Or even Christians, like we still struggle with that too. And sometimes, when we're going through our own things, we're kind of like not always the nicest people, right?
Yep.
And like even sometimes now I'll catch myself when I'm having a hard time and I'm not always like super patient or super kind. And so it's just important to remember that like there's always something going on beneath the surface that no one knows about. And so if someone's acting out of sorts, it's probably because they have something going on,
Yep.
even if they're not aware of it.
Yeah.
Because half of the stuff that we talked about today, for a good portion of our lives, we weren't even conscious of
Yep.
that was a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whoa. Okay.
Well, I
Well,
think that wraps up episode 11.
yes. We hope you guys really enjoyed today's episode. Um, I we hope that this really impacted anyone who's watching or listening. Um, feel free to comment down below, share testimonies, or like maybe if you had similar experience to Avrielle, just like share not only for like yourself, but it's really encouraging to us as well because like we're still just people.
Yep.
And would love to hear like input from other people who may have struggled with similar things. If you have tips, throw them down below because you never know who's like looking for help and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Feel free to DM us at Girls on Fire for Jesus, or email us at
I
girlsonfireforjesus07
think we need
at
to play the applause
gmail.com
sound for that, guys.
because I didn't say email at us. I said email us.
Yes.
And then also just like comment. Feel free to comment. Feel free message us on any platform. But
Yeah.
anyways, we love you guys and we hope you know that Jesus loves you more.
Yes. Yeah. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Ah. Okay, bye.
Bye. I don't know. Holy
God is
moly.
good all the time. If he ain't, then you lying.